Atypical vertebrae are the first, the 10th, 11th, and the 12th vertebrae. The 10th, 11th, this is the 10th, 11th, and the 12th vertebrae all have got a feature that is common to them. This is that they have got at the side of the body a single complete articular facet. Okay, this is the 10th, and here also a single facet, and on the 12th vertebra also a single facet on the side of the body. In order to differentiate between the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th rib is first to look at the transverse process near the tip. If the transverse process, so you can see here, contains or is a costal facet, then this should be assigned as a 10th rib. So the 10th as a 10th vertebra. So the 10th vertebra, there's a single complete facet on the side of the body near the superior border of the vertebra, of the body of the vertebra, and also it bears a costal facet on the anterior surface of the transverse process near the tip. Otherwise, it's a typical vertebra. It has got superior articular and inferior articular facets. The superior one face backward and laterally, while the inferior ones face forward and somewhat medially. Okay. Now we have eliminated the 10th vertebra. In order to differentiate between the 11th and the 12th vertebra is to look at the inferior articular processes. If the inferior articular processes face forward and medially, as in this case, then the vertebra is an 11th one. If the inferior articular facets face directly lateral, as in this case, then this is the 12th rib. The inferior articular facets are similar to those of lumbar vertebrae. Okay, so in order to differentiate again between the 10th, 11th, and the 12th vertebra is to first look at the side, at the transverse process. If it contains a costal facet, then this is a 10th vertebra. Now we'll be with the 11th and the 12th vertebrae. In order to differentiate between them, we have to look at the inferior articular facets. If the inferior articular facets face forward and medially, then this is an 11th vertebra. If it faces directly lateral, like those of lumbar vertebrae, then this is the 12th vertebra. Moreover, the transverse process shows a rounded eminence of bone just behind the superior articular facet. This is known as the mammillary body, and inferiorly it shows a sharp projection. This sharp projection is known as the accessory tubercle. So the 12th thoracic vertebra shows a single complete facet at the side of the body. It has got no costal facet on the transverse process. Instead, it has got superiorly a mammillary body, while inferiorly it has got an accessory tubercle, and the inferior articular facets in a state of facing forward and medially, like other thoracic vertebrae, it faces directly lateral, like the lumbar vertebrae. The 4th atypical vertebra is the first vertebra. This is a typical one. However, the first vertebra differs than the rest of the typical thoracic vertebrae in that it has got a broad body that is not heart-shaped. The second feature is that on the side of the body it bears two facets. The superior one is a complete facet for articulation with the single facet located on the head of the first rib, while the inferior one is a demi-facet for articulation with the superior facet on the head of the second rib. The third feature is that the superior border of the pedicle does not lie level with the upper margin of the body of the vertebra. It lies somewhat low down, so that the body of the first thoracic vertebra participates in the formation of the intervertebral foramen both above and below for the transmission of the 8th cervical spinal nerve and the 1st thoracic spinal nerve. So that's all for atypical thoracic vertebrae.